The first time the door slammed hard enough to shake the walls, she knew the night would end in pain. The house, standing alone at the edge of a dusty Wild West town, had learned the sound of her fear. 3 years of hell had taught the wooden floors to creak softly, the windows to stay silent, and her heart to beat quietly so it would not be noticed. She carried bruises like memories, invisible to the world but heavy inside her chest. Every sunrise came with the same question: how much more could a human soul endure before it finally broke? Before the story pulls you deeper into her world, take a moment. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet power of human compassion, please like this video, share it with someone who might need hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to our channel, Wild West Tale. Your support keeps stories like this alive. Her name did not matter anymore. Not to the man who controlled the house, not to the town that looked away, and not even to herself some days. She had once been someone with dreams, with laughter that came easily, with hands that loved to create and a heart that trusted too freely. But that woman had slowly disappeared under years of shouting, fists, and silence. The abuse did not begin all at once. It arrived gently, disguised as concern, then as control, and finally as cruelty. By the time she realized she was trapped, the doors felt locked even when they were not. Each day followed the same cruel rhythm. She woke before dawn to avoid trouble, moved carefully through her chores, and learned to read the air in the room like a warning sign. The smallest mistake could trigger an explosion. A misplaced cup, a late meal, a look held too long. Her body became a map of old wounds, her spirit a fragile thing she guarded deep inside. She stopped asking for help because help never came. In a town where everyone knew everyone, people chose comfort over confrontation. It was easier to pretend nothing was wrong. The nights were the worst. Darkness gave the pain room to breathe. She lay awake listening to the wind outside, imagining it could carry her away if she were brave enough to follow it. Sometimes she dreamed of open land, of riding horses under endless skies, of freedom that smelled like dust and sun. But morning always came, and with it, reality pressed down again. The third year changed her in ways she could not name. Hope became dangerous, so she buried it. She moved like a ghost through her own life, surviving rather than living. There were moments when she stood at the door, her hand resting on the handle, heart racing, mind screaming to run. But fear always won. Fear of being caught. Fear of being alone. Fear that no one would believe her. Then, on a day that looked no different from the rest, fate shifted quietly. The town was buzzing about a stranger. A lone cowboy had ridden in just before sunset, dust-covered and tired, with eyes that looked like they had seen too much road and too many endings. He was not loud or flashy. He did not boast or threaten. He moved with the calm of someone who knew violence but did not seek it. People noticed him because he noticed things others ignored. The way a hand shook when reaching for change. The way a bruise was hidden too carefully. The way silence spoke louder than words. She did not see him at first. She was sent into town on an errand, her face pale, her body aching. When she stepped into the general store, the weight of her life felt heavier than usual. That was when she felt it. Not eyes judging her, not curiosity, but something else. Awareness. For the first time in years, someone truly saw her. The cowboy did not ask questions. He did not interfere. He simply remembered her face. Days later, the storm came. Not from the sky, but from inside the house. The violence was worse than ever, fueled by anger and control slipping through cruel fingers. She curled inward, protecting what little was left of her. In that moment, something inside her finally broke, not into surrender, but into a desperate will to survive. She reached for the door, stumbling into the night, not knowing where she was going, only knowing she could not stay. She did not get far. Her strength failed her near the edge of town, where the road met open land. That was where the lone cowboy found her. There was no dramatic rescue, no loud confrontation at first. Just a quiet presence, steady and strong, like the earth itself. He wrapped a coat around her shaking body and stood between her and the darkness she was running from. The days that followed felt unreal. Help came slowly, carefully. The cowboy did not claim to be a hero. He did not promise miracles. What he offered was something far more powerful: safety. He stayed nearby, not intruding, but not leaving either. His presence alone shifted the balance. The man who had ruled through fear sensed the change. Control weakens when witnesses appear. The town could no longer pretend. Whispers turned into attention. Attention turned into action. For the first time in 3 years, she was not alone. Healing did not happen overnight. Freedom came with its own pain. When the abuse ended, the memories remained. Nightmares followed her into safer rooms. Sudden sounds still made her flinch. But now, when she woke shaking, the morning light felt different. It felt possible. The cowboy helped her rebuild in quiet ways. He fixed broken things without asking. He listened without forcing her to speak. He showed her that strength did not always roar, sometimes it simply stayed. Through him, she relearned what respect felt like. Through herself, she rediscovered courage she never knew she had. Weeks turned into months. Her body grew stronger. Her eyes held light again. She began helping around town, slowly becoming visible not as a victim, but as a survivor. People who once looked away now nodded in acknowledgement, some with guilt, some with admiration. She did not need their approval anymore, but she accepted their humanity. One evening, as the sun painted the land gold, she stood outside, breathing freely. The wide sky no longer mocked her dreams. It welcomed them back. She understood then that the cowboy had not saved her by fighting her battles. He had saved her by reminding her she was worth saving. If this story has reached your heart, if it has stirred something deep inside you, please take a moment to like this video, share it, and subscribe to Wild West Tale. Your engagement helps these stories reach others who may still be living in silence. Before the ending, we have a special request for you. Please comment below and tell us what this story made you feel, or share one word that represents hope to you. Your words might help someone else find strength. In the end, the lone cowboy rode on, as people like him often do. But he left behind something permanent. A life reclaimed. A woman who no longer measured her days by fear, but by possibility. She had endured 3 years of hell, and those scars remained, they no longer defined her. What defined her was the quiet truth that even in the darkest places, kindness can walk through the door and change everything.